All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So Joe Douglas's pre-draft press conference just wrapped up with assistant GM Rex Hogan, and in this one, I wanted to quickly break it down. And look, of course, there was so much talk about Aaron Rodgers here, but the one thing that Douglas kept reiterating pretty much throughout the throughout the course of the presser. It's not 100% officially done as of right now. There's, in his words, there's still I's to be dotted, T's to be crossed. And in my assumption from that is the physical needs to get done, the contract restructure needs to get done, and then over the next couple of days, I'm hoping everything will slowly but surely get released and it'll be done. I believe it was Diana Rossini from ESPN who reported that Aaron Rodgers will be flying into Jersey either tonight or tomorrow. So hopefully that gets done and then this process is just sped up. But I mean, if we're talking about trading away picks this year, it kind of has to be done by Thursday, if that makes sense. So I'm not too worried about it. He brought up why Aaron Rodgers was the top choice of the organization. Talked about him being close to the back-to-back MVP seasons. Obviously, those seasons happened not too long ago here. But also talked about the relationships with some of the players in-house, with Nathaniel Hackett. And also referenced how last season he put up, solid numbers. Granted, they weren't the MVP style of numbers, but at the end of the day, Rodgers still had a statistically speaking good year, and he was dealing with the broken thumb. So he wasn't 100% healthy, and was still out there looking like one of the top quarterbacks in football. So I like how Douglas brought that up, right? I like how he highlighted the injury. One thing I'm seeing all over social media here is Rodgers, he's trending down. His numbers are way down from the previous years. He's falling off. I mean, I'm looking at the stats. What is it? 3,600 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 picks. I mean, those are still really good numbers. I mean, that's, to me, it's not like, man, this guy's, he needs to, he's completely washed. Not in the least. And I think JD kind of, realizes that as well. Now, Douglas did not want to get into the future, right? 2024 and beyond. He also did not want to talk about if Rodgers was going to be participating in voluntary OTAs. Just didn't want to get into that territory. In fact, he actually told the the reporters there that they can ask Aaron those questions, in due time. So I understand it from Douglas, from Douglas's perspective here. It just doesn't really make too much sense if he doesn't have the answers to those questions. There's no point to sit there and, make false promises and this and that. Like, just keep it open-ended, like the last thing you want to do is speak for Aaron Rodgers. He's going to do what he wants. He's going to say what he wants. Don't try to take charge and get in front of the situation if, you don't have 1,000% clarity on what's going to happen. I do not mind Douglas, sidestepping these questions. Now, in regards to the draft, there was a lot of talk about offensive line. He did say that the team building is not done. He's not satisfied with the trenches, and there's always going to be a focus on the offense and defensive lines, right? And I think right now we're looking at the 15th overall pick. He had one quote, honestly, I know this whole thing was kind of about A-Rod, but my favorite quote in the entire press conference was right at the end when him and Rex were talking about a question came up like, oh, is the New England Patriots picking at 14? Like, does that come up at all? Douglas said no. And the main theme here is that, 2 days ago, the Jets had to feel really, really good about 13 players in this draft. The only thing that's changed is that the Jets have to feel good about 15 players, and they do. So that's a really, really good, really positive, really optimistic way of looking at it, because that was, that question was, in my head as well. I was thinking to myself, Green Bay really needs help at wide receiver. They really need help at tackle. They can go out and select whoever it is, Broderick Jones, if Paris Johnson falls, Skoronski, whoever. Green Bay is definitely in play. Smith and Jigba. The Green Bay Packers will be selecting a player at 13 that the Jets covet. New England really needs wide receivers. They could use some help on the offensive line. There's mock draft after mock draft after mock draft of the Pats selecting the offensive lineman that originally would get past the Jets at 13, whether it would be, a Broderick Jones or Darnell Wright. Now the roles are flipped and the Patriots now have the first crack if an offensive lineman gets past, all these teams that need one: Chicago, Tennessee, Green Bay. So it should be interesting, but to me, I did not, granted, He's not gonna, Douglas is not going to go out there on the on a pre-draft press conference and act all, anxious and panic. But to me, I didn't get any sort of, I didn't get a sense of nervousness, anxiety, stress whatsoever. So that was pretty much that. I actually talked a little bit about Corey Davis at the end. Did not seem like the Jets are going to part ways with him, trade him, whatever. He said he was actually a valuable part of the team. He's a hard worker. Guys, younger guys in the locker room look up to Corey Davis. Maybe there's a restructure there, but I would be, quite frankly, shocked if we get news later today, tomorrow, the Jets are releasing Corey Davis to save money after he just went on and on and on talking about Davis as a New York Jet. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'll leave the full press conference if you guys didn't check it out down below in the description box. I appreciate you guys sticking around. Thanks so much, and as always, go Jets.